My name's Candida Baker. I am an author and a journalist and also a natural horsemanship practitioner. I run a small equine charity called Equine Alliance. I'm also known as the horse listener for my work with horses. And I'm also an equine facilitated learning practitioner. And so I do equine therapy sessions with clients with horses. I live in the Byron hinterland with a herd of 11 horses and a French bulldog called Willow. And have a wonderful daily life living my dream. So I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't love horses. I think my very first memory is of when I was about 2.5 and I was on a film set and my dad was riding in this particular film, and he was a horse rider, and he sat me up on this very big horse. And I have a photograph of that day, but I can also remember it, and I wouldn't have been more than around 2. I think what's special about horses for me is that somewhere in the dim and distant past, when man stopped eating them and started riding them in order to catch food, horses literally came along for the ride and somehow emotionally connected with humans and allowed humans to harness, to use another horse analogy, their power, which is why it's called horsepower, to create agriculture and to build worlds. And horses were involved with humankind from a very early stage of both of our evolutions. And the essence of the emotional friendship and connection between man and horse, I think, is deeply embedded in us. So this is the most basic thing, to teach them to stand out in their own space. Back, back, good girl. So now you can see her eyes are on me, her ears are on me, yeah? She's flicking backwards and forwards, she's quiet, she's attentive, yeah? So now I'm going to ask her in. To ask her in, I'm just going to lower my eyes, that's all I'm going to do. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That's right. So for me, horse listening, it's not that you have to be able to be strong enough to assert boundaries with horses. If you can't do that, you can get into real trouble, and so can the horse. But at the same time, you also have to be able to be prepared to intuitively listen at a very, almost like listening for a whisper or a leaf blowing or something. You have to be really nuanced in how you come to understand the signals your horse is giving you. Listening is observing, listening is mindfulness. Listening is understanding that a horse is, that if a horse is presenting with behavioural problems, that it may be pain, it may be trauma, it may be that they simply are physically unable to do the things that someone is asking them to do, and nobody is taking notice of that. I have had, since I was a child, some psychic experiences where animals or even people who've passed over have spoken to me. I don't set myself up as someone who does that in any way professionally, but it happens to me. In a sense, my therapy qualification, if you like, was really to put a qualification around what I'd been learning and doing with horses for 20 years anyway. And it also means that I can work with clients who come to me with PTSD or anxiety or depression or with problems in their lives, and I can literally facilitate the meeting between the horse and the human. I come in, feel the energy, move out, feel the energy. There's something. And this time, feel it radiating out from her.
That's crazy. I feel really sad all of a sudden.
Yes, you do. So what's coming up?
I'm not sure.
So just let it come. Safi will hold it for you. So another facet of the work that I do with horses, two that are interlinked, essential oils and energy work. I just wondered, I don't even know to this day why did I wonder, but I did. I thought, I wonder if they'd like to smell essential oils. And I took my little box of essential oils out there, and I this was all completely intuitive. I knew nothing about it. And I held out an oil. And they both sniffed it, and they were both really curious. And I can't remember what that first oil was, but they kind of put their heads toward it. And I noticed that their nostrils opened up and they were inhaling it. And that started me off on this really 20-year journey of discovering which oils horses love, which oils kind of elevate them, which oils will calm them down. And also my rescue work led me to the wonderful oil marjoram, which is very good for grief and trauma and loss, and I've discovered that that is an absolute go-to oil for me. Whenever I go to meet a rescue horse, I'll take my marjoram with me. The other part of it is the energy work, where I'll get a sensation that a horse wants me to put my hands near its body, and I can work either on its body or in the etheric field. And I can see, again, areas where it's a bit cloudy and dark, where that horse seems to need my hands to go. And then what will often happen if I introduce this to a client with a horse is that that's when you get the state of limbic resonance, because number one, the person is astonished to find that they can feel heat coming out of their hands and going towards the horse and coming back to them and going towards the horse and coming back to them. And they almost go into a state of bliss. The horse drops and the human drops, and the horse drops and the human drops. And they'll often just stand there for 10 or 15 minutes and they look completely blissed, both of them. Horse and human look completely blissed out at the end of it, which is really lovely.
Really quite amazing how it reaches poles. Like mine was amazing because I didn't thought I would feel like the pole I do the stride, but I actually did. It was really like pushing over there, and like it was like pushing.
Yes. So you've got a talent for it.